Let me talk to the woman who feels alone, the one scrolling through her phone, seeing people laughing in pictures she wasn't invited to. The one who spends her weekends trying to fill the silence with tasks, but still feels that gnawing emptiness. The one who's thinking, why don't I have friends like everyone else? What's wrong with me? I want to tell you right now, nothing is wrong with you. Let's say that again. Nothing is wrong with you. You see, we live in a world obsessed with connection, notifications, group chats, Instagram likes. But here's the truth. None of that equals real friendship. You might feel like the only one on the outside, but you're not. There are millions of women just like you carrying that same weight of isolation, convinced they're the only ones. And the hardest part? The shame. Because no one wants to admit they feel alone. We think that being friendless means being broken, but it doesn't. It means you're in a moment, a season, not a sentence. If you're sitting in that space right now, I want you to breathe. Literally. Take a deep breath. You've been carrying this for a while, and now you need to hear this. Your value is not determined by how many people text you back. It's not measured by party invites or dinner plans. Your worth is infinite, unchanging. You don't need permission from the world to take up space. You already belong. You already matter. Let's get real for a second. Sometimes life just moves people out of our orbit. Maybe you moved cities. Maybe you outgrew the people who used to feel like home. Maybe you realized that some friendships were one-sided and toxic. Maybe you've been focusing on work, or kids, or healing from something really damn hard. Whatever the reason, you ended up here, feeling like a party of one. But listen to me carefully. Being alone does not mean you are unlovable. It means life is creating space. And you get to decide what and who fills that space next. You are not a woman with no friends. You are a woman in transition. You are evolving. And the friends who will meet you at this next level, they're looking for you too. But they won't find you if you're hiding in shame, telling yourself you're not worthy. You need to stand up. Get out of your head. Stop replaying that lie that says you're too weird, too quiet, too broken, too intimidating. You are not too anything. You are exactly who you need to be. Right now. You need to start showing up like you're already loved. Because you are. The energy you put out matters. The way you treat yourself teaches the world how to treat you. So if you want deep, loyal, soul-filling friendships, start with being a deep, loyal, soul-filling friend to yourself. Show up for you. Take yourself out. Speak kindly to yourself. Celebrate your wins. And when loneliness creeps in, and it will, look it dead in the eye and say, you don't get to define me. I'm building something bigger. It's okay to start small. Maybe it's a smile at a stranger, hey, want to grab coffee sometime? To a coworker. Maybe it's joining a local group or class or reaching out to someone you lost touch with. I know it feels scary. Vulnerability always does. But you can't keep waiting for people to come knock on your door. You've got to take the first step. Even if it's messy, even if it's awkward, even if your voice shakes. Courage isn't about not being scared. It's about doing it anyway. Let me tell you something about the strongest women I know. They all had a season like this. A time when they walked alone, when they cried into their pillow and prayed for connection. And you know what? That season made them powerful. Because when you walk through the fire of solitude and come out still loving yourself, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when you stop settling. That's when you stop chasing validation. That's when you start attracting the people who see the real you and love her. So if today you're sitting in silence, wondering if anyone would even notice if you disappeared, let this be your sign. I see you. You matter. You're needed. This world needs your story, your heart, your weird laugh, your late-night thoughts. Don't rob us of that because of a lie you've been telling yourself. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are rising. Stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect version of yourself to step out. Do it now, with the fear, with the discomfort, with the shaky voice. Because the moment you start living like you're already enough, that's when everything changes. That's when doors open. That's when your people begin to find you. Not because you needed them to complete you, but because you finally started to shine like the woman you were always meant to be. You're not a woman with no friends. You're a woman who is about to become her own damn hero. And that is the most powerful kind of woman there is. Feeling like you don't have friends can cut deeper than almost anything else. It can make you question everything about who you are, your worth, your personality, your past, your choices. You sit there thinking, everyone else has people. Why not me? What am I doing wrong? And in that space, it's so easy to start believing a lie that's been whispered to far too many women for far too long, that if you're alone, it must be because you're broken. But I need you to understand something and not just hear it, feel it in your bones. You are not broken. Let that land. You are not broken. You are not defective. You are not less than. What you are is human. And being human means walking through hard seasons. Sometimes you lose people. Sometimes you outgrow relationships. Sometimes you go through long stretches where the calls don't come, the invites stop showing up, and you begin to believe that everyone else has figured something out that you haven't. But that's not true. What's happening is life. Life shifts, people move, priorities change. And sometimes you're left standing alone in a space that used to be full of noise, laughter, and connection. And you know what? That's not your fault. We are so quick to blame ourselves for being alone. As women, we are conditioned to think that connection is part of our identity, like we only become complete when we're surrounded by others. But here's the truth. Your identity is not rooted in how many people you have around you. Your identity is who you are at your core, when it's quiet, when no one's watching, when no one's calling. That woman, she's still whole, still powerful, still enough. You see, being friendless at times doesn't mean you're unlikable or unworthy. It just means that you're in a space where life is clearing the clutter. Maybe you've spent years showing up for people who never really saw you. Maybe you've been in rooms full of people and still felt alone. That's not friendship. That's noise, and now the noise is gone. And yes, it feels uncomfortable, it feels scary, but it's also necessary. Because now in this silence, you get to hear yourself again. You get to rebuild, not from a place of needing others to validate you, but from a place of knowing your own value first. That's the gift hidden inside the loneliness. You get to sit with yourself without distraction and figure out who you really are, who you want to become, what kind of energy you want around you, what kind of relationships you actually deserve. So stop telling yourself that this season of solitude is a punishment. It's not. It's preparation. It's not a sign of failure. It's a signal that something new needs to begin. The end of shallow friendships or draining connections is the beginning of real, soul-aligned relationships. But first, you have to go through the clearing. You have to be okay with the empty space before it fills again. And I know that's not easy. I know it hurts. I know the quiet can feel like it's going to swallow you whole. But let me tell you something that might shift the way you look at this. You are in exactly the right place to grow into the strongest version of yourself. The woman who learns how to be okay standing alone is the woman who becomes unstoppable when she finally stands with others who are aligned with her truth. This is not your ending. This is your becoming. So when those dark thoughts creep in, when the inner critic tells you that nobody cares, that you're too much or not enough, that you'll never find your people, I want you to answer back, loudly, boldly, truthfully. Tell that voice, I'm not broken, I'm just rebuilding. That difference is everything. One says you're beyond repair, the other says you're just under construction. And buildings under construction don't apologize for the noise, for the mess, for the work. They stand tall in the process, knowing what's coming is stronger than what stood before. You are a work in progress, not a problem to fix. This season of solitude isn't a life sentence. It's a chapter. And when the next chapter begins, you'll walk into it not needing anyone to prove you're worthy of love, connection, or belonging. because you'll already know it. And that knowing, that's the foundation of everything. Because the friendships that come after this season, after you've done the work to understand yourself, after you've chosen to love yourself first, those friendships will be deeper, more honest, and more soul-fulfilling than anything you've ever known. But first, you have to stop believing the lie. You have to stop looking in the mirror and seeing someone broken. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not weird or unlovable or too complicated. You are not the exception to connection. You are simply in a moment that looks different from what you expected. That's all, and it will pass. But in the meantime, you have to be kind to yourself. You have to hold your own hand through the lonely nights. You have to look yourself in the eye and say, I'm still here, I'm still standing, and that matters. You are a woman with depth, with dreams, with fire in your soul. You are not defined by how many people you're texting right now. You are defined by how you treat yourself when no one else is watching. You are defined by your courage to get up each day and try again, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when it feels like no one sees you. But I see you, and I want you to know that being in this space right now, being in this season of being alone, is not the worst thing. It might be the most powerful thing that's ever happened to you. Because if you can come through this not just surviving, but thriving, you'll come out of it knowing something that no one can take away from you. You don't need to be surrounded to be whole. You are already enough. So let go of the shame. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the story that says you're broken. You are not. You are healing. You are evolving. You are shedding the old to make room for something better. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. When you're in a place where you feel disconnected, when it seems like everyone has someone except you, it's so easy to start tying your value to the presence or absence of other people. The human brain is wired for connection, for belonging. So when that feels missing, your mind starts filling in the blanks. They don't text me back, so I must be annoying. I wasn't invited, so I must not matter. They drifted away, so I must not be good enough. And without even realizing it, you start measuring your worth by external validation. But let me tell you something that could change everything. Your worth is not up for negotiation. It is not dependent on who calls, who stays, or who walks away. Your value does not go up or down based on other people's presence in your life. Read that again. You are not a stock price. You are not a follower count. You are not defined by the number of people who show up for your birthday, or who tag you in photos, or who remember to ask how you're doing. You are whole, complete, as you are, regardless of how others treat you. The way someone else shows up or doesn't is a reflection of them, not you. But I get it. We've all been conditioned to believe otherwise. From the time we were kids, we were taught to associate popularity with value. The more people around you, the more lovable you must be. The more attention you get, the more important you are. It's everywhere, in school, in movies, in social media. You see those curated images of brunches with friends, group vacations, inside jokes, and think, that's what connection looks like. That's what being valuable must feel like. And when you don't have that, it chips away at your self-esteem, if you let it. But here's the truth that social media won't tell you. People are showing their highlights, not their reality. You don't know what's going on behind the camera. You don't know if those friendships are deep or performative. You don't know if those smiling faces belong to people who also cry at night, wondering why they still feel alone in a room full of others. So stop comparing your private struggles to someone else's public show. Your journey is valid, and it does not need a spotlight to matter. You're not unworthy just because you're walking through a season where connection is scarce. In fact, this might be the exact moment when you learn the most important lesson of your life, that your worth comes from within, that who you are when no one is clapping is still enough, that you don't need a crowd to be valuable, that you don't need constant reminders from the outside to know your heart, your mind, your energy are needed in this world. Let me be blunt. The most dangerous thing you can do is let someone else's inability to love you, see you, or show up for you make you question your own value. Don't give that power away. You are not for everyone. That's okay. You're not meant to be. The right people will love you in ways that feel easy and true, but they cannot fill the gaps if you believe you are unworthy without them. That's a void only you can heal. And that healing starts when you stop tying your value to anyone else's opinion, reaction, or attention. Think about it. When you constantly look outside yourself for worth, you're handing your power away. Every unread message, every canceled plan, every silent treatment becomes a trigger. You start to question yourself. Did I say too much? Was I too intense? Too quiet? Not interesting enough? And before you know it, you're shrinking to fit into someone else's version of acceptable, just to be included. But inclusion that costs you your authenticity is not worth having. Any friendship, any relationship, any connection that requires you to be less of yourself is not love. It's performance. You deserve more than that. You deserve to take up space fully, loudly, softly, however you are. And that starts with deciding that your value is constant. Like a diamond buried under dirt, your shine doesn't disappear just because no one sees it yet. You shine anyway. You speak kindly to yourself. You validate your own feelings. You show up for yourself when others don't. Because if you wait for the world to confirm your worth, you'll always be chasing. But when you know your worth, you stop chasing and start choosing. You choose who gets access to you. You choose which energies are allowed in your life. You choose how to respond when someone doesn't show up for you, without letting it wreck your self-image. Let me be very clear. Being chosen by someone else doesn't make you worthy. You already are. Being surrounded doesn't make you more complete. You already are. Being invited, praised, complimented, those are all nice, but they are not necessary for you to know that you matter. They are extra, not essential. And when you live from that truth, everything changes. You begin to make decisions, not from fear of being alone, but from alignment with your self-worth. You stop clinging to people who only half love you. You stop bending yourself to fit into spaces that don't see your full value. You start attracting connections that mirror your inner strength, your boundaries, your authenticity. And on the days when the silence is loud, when no one checks in, when it feels like no one sees you, I want you to remember this. You still matter. Your presence is still powerful. Your energy is still impactful. The world is better because you're in it. And one day, the people who are meant for you, those who match your depth, your integrity, your love, will find you. But only if you stop shrinking. Only if you stop waiting for validation to begin living like you're enough. Start now, with no audience, with no applause, just you, deciding that from this moment on, your value is not a variable, it's a truth, constant, unshakable, and entirely your own. Sometimes the quiet seasons of life feel unbearable. You wake up, go about your day, and everything looks normal on the outside. But inside, there's an ache, a weight, a feeling that something's missing. Maybe it's the absence of deep conversation. Maybe it's realizing you have no one to call when something exciting happens, or worse, when everything falls apart. That kind of silence can feel heavy. But what if I told you that this space, this seemingly empty season, is not a punishment? What if it's an invitation? See, life has a way of clearing things out before something better can begin. Think of it like pruning. Before new growth, before fresh blooms, there's always a cutting away. People who no longer align with your energy fall away. Conversations you used to tolerate feel hollow now. Relationships that were built on convenience or shallow connection begin to fade. And in that fading, in that loss, you find yourself standing in the stillness, alone, but not broken, just becoming. This space you're in right now, it's not meaningless, it's not random, it's necessary. You are not being punished, you're being prepared. Life is creating room for something deeper, something more aligned with who you're becoming. Because real friendship, Real connection isn't built from convenience or noise. It's built from truth, from presence, from the courage to stand alone first and figure out who you are without all the distractions. You cannot fully appreciate meaningful relationships until you've learned how to sit with yourself and not crumble. That's what this space is teaching you. It's uncomfortable, yes. Growth always is. But this is the season where you stop molding yourself to fit other people's expectations and start meeting yourself exactly as you are, without needing to perform, without needing to be validated, without needing to be chosen. Loneliness, though painful, can be the greatest catalyst for self-discovery. In the absence of external noise, you finally get to hear your own voice. You get to uncover the parts of yourself you may have silenced to keep the peace, to fit in, to belong. And it's in this raw, honest space that the foundation is laid for confidence, for boundaries, for clarity. Because you're not filling your time trying to keep people around. You're not compromising to stay connected. You're choosing yourself, and that's not selfish, that's sacred. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. Connection without alignment is exhausting. Keeping friendships alive just because of history, guilt, or fear of being alone can drain you more than solitude ever will. Sometimes it takes being truly alone to realize just how much of yourself you were giving away for crumbs of companionship. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start recognizing what felt forced, what wasn't mutual, what left you feeling unseen even in someone's presence.